There we go. Good morning. Go ahead and good. Shift things a little this way. All right. There we are. Cool. Good morning, everyone. Alrighty. Let me just go ahead. All right. Hi. Good morning, everybody that is coming on in. Go ahead and get yourself nice and comfortable, making sure that you have your mat with you today. For today's class, we want to make sure that we have 2 blocks with us and possibly a blanket or a little pillow cushion like my red one over here, just for additional comfort throughout our practice today. All right. And then also, thanks so much for joining this morning's class. I appreciate it, as well as Adventure Rock. For today's class, what we are going to be working with is we are going to be doing a very energetic yoga class. We're going to be working a lot with our core, specifically our lower core today. I had a kind of a clump of questions to summarize in one huge question, of how we can utilize our props more in our home practice. That's not just for restorative purposes or for bringing like additional height in areas where we need it the most. And specifically just finding more ways to be more creative with our props at home, so we can get more of an exercise out of it too, that's more energetic and more strengthening than just lengthening and flexibility that yoga brings to the table. So I decided to provide a class today that is very core dominant, and utilizing the blocks to help us keep stable and to essentially use that weights in some aspects of it. So if you don't already, you can go ahead and grab your 2 blocks, a little pillow possibly, or a blanket for some additional comfort. And we also want to place our mat that is somewhere near the wall, because we will be using the wall for some exercises today. So just making sure that it's a little close, or at least once we get there, we're able to move our yoga mat without making a long journey out of it. Alrighty. Cool. So I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab my water real quick. And this is also a perfect time where, if you have your own music source at home, to go ahead and provide it for you. It is a little early for me to start playing music right now, since my partner's asleep, but you can go ahead and provide some music for yourself, be your own DJ today. And I see that there are more people that are joining the class. Thanks for joining. My name is Julia. Okay. And go ahead and grab 2 blocks and a blanket for today's practice. See ya. So then after everything is said and done, grab your props. You go ahead and start to make your way onto your yoga mat. If you hear any vibration, that's just my space heater, because it is cold in this room. Yeah. And if you would like to, when you come into a seated position, you can grab a block and you can place it underneath your sitting area here. So starting today's class with a lengthening through our spine, getting the support through our props to start. Then just go ahead and start to begin to roll your shoulders here, just to wake up a little bit, bringing your shoulders up towards your ears and exhaling, rotating them back. And then finding our breath as we do so. And then as we do a few shoulder rolls back here, we can then begin to bring the shoulders forward for a roll instead. Taking deep inhalations and exhalations as you find this gentle movement to start your practice. And then we're going to go ahead and bring the palms out to the T. Stretch out the arms and very slowly inhale, rise your palms all the way up towards the ceiling. We want to make the journey here so that we can get the most out of our arms and our shoulders as we stretch. And keeping the palms towards the ceilings for 2 more breaths. Or the fingertips. And then palms together, and then exhale to the heart center. And then you can either choose to close your eyes here or keep them open. But however you find your grounding here today, wanting you to think of lengthening in the seated position. So even though that we are on our prop, we still want to find a length through our spine. So if we're sitting naturally, find your navel and lift about 2 inches. Coming into your tallest self here. Engaging the front core, especially more by the pelvic area, as well as your back core here. Shoulders are engaged and away from the ears here. You can go ahead and continue to find your sense of grounding and whatever brought you on this mat today. And with our practices today, a lot of the asanas and the exercises that we are going to be exploring today are going to require not only a lot of strength, but also a lot of concentration so that we can focus on our best alignment as we move gracefully and energetically throughout a lot of these exercises and these asanas that we are going to be exploring today. So allowing yourself to think of the word strong or strength to help guide you through this practice. And that doesn't mean necessarily strength as in physically strong. You have to be the strongest on the mat today, but just bring in that energy of strength and bring in that energy that you will bring what you got to the table, explore through it, and love each and every moment. And as we take 2 more breaths here. And we're going to bring your palms out to the sides again. Find that length throughout the chest, throughout the spine. And then inhale, bringing your arms all the way up towards the ceiling. Good. And then exhale, palms together. Back to the heart center. As we meet our palms to the heart center, we want our fingertips and our knuckles, everything to connect into our palm. Rotating the shoulders back. And as we find this lift through our chest, we want to press our palms together to start activating throughout the forearms, activating throughout the shoulders here, creating an opening. So this should be an energetic movement. You're pressing your right palm into your left and your left into your right. And then continue to find this length through your chest. And then as we find this length through the chest, we do want to bring our navel towards our spine here so that we're not lifting and overarching into the lower spine. We're just finding this lift throughout our spine to keep us taller, to create space. And if we start to overarch, then we're going to lose that stability that we're creating at this moment. Okay. So then as you're pressing your palms together here, keep your left hand stable and into place. And then inhale, press your right palm into the left hand. So with this awareness that we're creating is, yes, we are connecting our palms together and still trying to find that opening throughout our shoulders. But instead of trying to force our left hand towards the right, we're just trying to keep our left hand stable and our left arm stable. And we're pushing our right hand into the left as if we're trying to push it away. And you will feel that there is a unique difference in the different energies that we are providing here as we press our palms together. Have a 2 more breaths. On the next breath, find stableness into your right hand and into your right arm, and then inhale, pressing your left hand into your right hand as you're trying to keep your right hand stable. And just noticing the difference in the energies that we are displaying and putting out for each arm for 5 breaths. Trying to remind yourself to stay lifted and to stay lifted here into your spine. Good. After the 5 breaths, go ahead, lift up through the chest and inhale, bring your palms up to the T. Good. Inhale, rise all the way up towards the ceiling. Exhale again into the palm center. If you haven't set an intention for your practice today, you can go ahead and set one here at this moment. Good. And then go ahead and with the palms, you're going to interlace the fingertips. Inhale, bring your arms forward. Engage the core, bring your arms towards the ceiling. Good. And as we find this look through the arms, inhale, side bend over towards the right side of the room, lifting up through the spine. Rooting through the left knee. And inhale to the center. And then exhale, bend over to the left side, lifting up through the chest. Rooting through the knee. 2 more breaths. And inhale, rise. And then from here, you go ahead, bring your arms into cactus arms, and we're going to come into a twist to the right side of the room. So inhale, lift through the chest, move through the rib cage to the right side. Left hand on the thigh, right arm behind. And as we find this twist, we still want to find this lift in through our chest. We're keeping our spine nice and tall so that it has room to bind and to come into this twist. So bringing your chest forward. And next eye gaze, we're going to take our eye gaze over the left shoulder for 3 breaths. Going to keep the eye gaze over into the center and slowly release. And then just kind of shake your body, just left and right, kind of turning by your shoulders here. Nice and gentle, kind of undoing that twist and getting a little more motion into our body as we start the practice today. Good. And then on the next breath, we're going to find ourselves into the center. Bring your cactus arms here, nice and flex with the hands, and inhale, rise up through the chest, twist over to the left side. You know what to do. Right arm is behind, and left hand is onto the thigh. Good. We are elevated off this block here, so this should encourage us with this elevation to keep our spine kind of engaged and active as we go through this twist and lift it up through the chest. It's the back hand. We don't want to use it as a kickstand. We just want to use it as a guide to help us through the twist. 3 breaths of your eye gaze over the right shoulder. Shoulders away from your ears. Good. Then very gently eye gaze center, and we're going to release very slightly. Just kind of rock your body. Bring that energetic movement here. And so then you can go ahead and find yourself at a tabletop position. We want to make sure that both of our blocks are set in front of the mat here to start. Good. And we're just going to go through a few series of some sun salutations so that we can wake up our body a little bit more here. Good. So as you find yourself into your tabletop position, you can go ahead and curl through the toes and then bring your knees towards your stomach, coming into supported down dog. So we're just stretching up through our spine here to start. Tailbone is actively up towards the ceiling. And once you got about a good 3 to 5 breaths in, you can then go ahead and engage through the thighs and start to straighten out through the legs, heels towards the ground. You can start to walk each heel towards the mat, one at a time, or if you wanted to, you get a little bit of some hip sways here, side to side, to get more to the side body. Bringing your ankles at warrior diagonals. Good. I'm going to bend the knees generously, eye gaze forward, hop, step, or walk to the front of the mat, coming into your Uttanasana, your forward fold. Good. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. We're going to soften through the knees. Bring your arms up and inhale, rise all the way up into your high mountain. Good. Maybe a little back bend. And then palms together. Exhale, Salutation. Inhale, rise, back bend. And then exhale, hip hinge, bringing the tailbone back. Uttanasana, forward fold. Bend the knees. Either hop, step, or walk into your plank position. Into your plank position. We're going to inhale, shift forward. Bend at the elbows all the way down into your cobra. Inhaling and then exhale, release. Curl the toes. Inhale, rise, chaturanga, downward facing dog. Find some of the soft and subtle movement here. A lot of us just woke up, so we're probably feeling nice and stiff. So just taking your time through these movements and making sure that we are breathing through them so that we can open up, bring in that energy for our exercises, pedaling out the knees if needed, needed. And bend the knees generously, tailbone up, stretch through the spine for 3 breaths. Good. Eye gaze forward, and we're going to either hop, step, or walk into a Uttanasana, our forward fold. Hands to the shins. Inhale, find that half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Soften through the knees. And this time we're going to bring the tailbone back, kind of come into a chair position here. And inhale, come into chair. And then rising all the way up, high mountain, little back bend if you wish. And then palms together, Samasthiti. Good. Inhale, rise once more, back bend. And then exhale, hip hinge. Hands to the mat, soften through the knees. Good. Hop, step, or walk into your plank position. Into your plank, we're going to shift forward, chaturanga, all the way to the mat. So we inhale, come up into cobra. Exhale, release. Curl the toes. Inhale, rise, chaturanga, downward facing dog. Pedal out through the legs. And one more time, we're going to bend the knees generously, tailbone up towards the sky for 3 breaths, stretching out through the spine. And we're going to either hop, step, or walk to the front of the mat, Uttanasana, forward fold. But in this forward fold, we're going to bring our hips, our legs just about hip length apart here. We're going to find a little soften to start. We're going to have our hands onto our thighs here. Come into that cow spine, that half lift, figure 7. Good. Then as you come here to your figure 7, just staying here for about 3 breaths, actively bringing the tailbone back as you're bringing your crown forward. So again, lengthen out through the spine here, getting that quad engagement so we can find a deeper hip hinge. Good. And as we find this figure 7, we're going to slowly start to walk our hand towards our toes here. And if you're able to grab onto your toes, go ahead and grab onto either your big toe, or if you want, you could take your fingertips underneath your feet here and kind of ground your feet on top of your hands, whichever feels most comfortable. And then from here, we're going to find that quad engagement. I'm going to take that tailbone back. We're going to inhale, find that half lift here. Good. So as we find this half lift, as we have our hands connected, it's helping us straighten out more towards the spine, or helping us straighten out more into the spine. And we still want to make sure that we keep our tailbone actively back and our crown forward. This is also helping us immensely behind our thighs here, opening up more through the hamstrings. And we do want to leave that core downward and forward at the same time so that we can bend more at the hips and put less stress onto the lower spine here. 2 more breaths. Let's make it 3. Good things come in 3s. Good, and then soften through the knees, forward fold, pressing the hands into the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Bend knees generously, find that lower core engagement. Good. And then inhale, rise into chair, and all the way up into high mountain, back bend. Good, then hip hinge, swan dive, hands to the mat. Let's go ahead and take the left leg back into the running lunge here. Good. So finding that lift through the chest, back leg is lifted here. We're going to square through the hips, flatten through the left palm, inhale, rise, right arm towards the ceiling. Good. 2 more breaths. We're going to exhale, release. Right hand to the ground, and as we slowly start to bring our top of the left knee, top of the left foot to the ground, come into your Anjaneyasana. Inhale, rise all the way up. We want to find that lower core engagement here to keep us lifted. So as we engage through the core, it's straightening out through the spine and not coming into an overarch. We just want that natural lumbar curve. Good. Stay here for 2 more breaths. Good. Exhale, hip hinge, forward fold, curl the left toes, and then inhale, rise, kick the left feet up towards the right foot, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees, palms up, inhale, rise, high mountain. Exhale into that chair position, and then forward fold. And this time, we're going to go ahead and bring the left leg back. Or the right leg back, I should say, left leg forward. And then when you're ready, twist to the left side. Inhale, left arm rises. 3 breaths. And the exhale, release. Go ahead, drop the top of the right foot, top of the right knee. And then come into your Anjaneyasana, squaring through the hips, engage the core. Inhale, bring your arms forward and rise. If you wanted to, you can bring it back bend if you wish in your Anjaneyasana. Arms can be up or they could be cactus arms. You choose your intensity today. Good. And then after you have those 3 breaths, you can go ahead, come back forward to that running lunge. And then we're going to kick the right leg up into Uttanasana. So inhale, rise up, and then Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Hands onto the mat. Go ahead and hop into your plank. Shift forward, chaturanga. And then halfway, flip your feet into upward facing dog. Shoulders away from the ears. 2 more breaths. And then exhale, release into your downward facing dog. Good. Gonna go through a little bit more movement here. Go ahead and shake up the hips. Sway them side to side. Good. Then we're going to bend the knees generously, eye gaze forward. We're going to hop, step, walk into Uttanasana, forward fold. Hands onto the big toes. Inhale, find that half lift here. For 3 breaths, tailbone back, crown forward. Engage through the thighs. Good. Exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees generously. Take the tailbone back. Come into your chair position. So inhale to your chair. Arms are lifted. Our seat is back. Stay here for 3 breaths. Find that lower core engagement to help keep us stable here. Good. The inhale, rise all the way up, back bend if you want. Good. Then exhale, release. All right, so go ahead and take a couple breaths here. Shake out your legs, shake out your hips. Good. Just go ahead and getting my timer set on over here. Okay. Cool. And so then from this next practice, we're going to go ahead and we're going to come into some chair squats now that we are moving and warmed up a little bit. So go ahead and take your first block here. And with our block, we're going to go ahead and place them in between our thighs. If it's or into our knees, whatever is most comfortable for you. I personally prefer my thighs. It's just whatever is comfortable. And so then as you have the block in between your legs, you're going to go ahead and come into prayer hands, or maybe cup one hand over a fist here. And we're going to find our tallest spine. As we start to find our tallest spine, we want to start engaging through the back core and find that length through the front, so that we're energetic more through the front side and we're stable and strong into the back. And from here, we're going to inhale, start to bring tailbone back, coming into the chair position. And since we have a little bit more stability here in towards our block, we could go ahead and kind of look down here to make sure that we can see the top of our feet. So if we can't see the top of our feet, we're going to feel like a little unstable. We're going to put a lot of unnecessary work into our knees. So by looking down, and just take the tailbone back so that we can level out through the shins. Good. And then getting a little bit deeper into your chair, just going ahead and finding this familiarity and this grounding into the chair position before we move forward. And once you found your sense of structure, lift up through the chest. And then inhale, straight. Exhale, chair. Inhale, straight up. Exhale, chair. Go ahead and do this for a total of 5. Inhaling as we lift and exhale as we go into our chair. And then after we have done our total of 5, we're going to go ahead and hip hinge, forward fold. Keep squeezing onto the block. Find that inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Squeeze the blocks. Bend the knees generously. And inhale, rise, bringing your arms up into chair. And keeping the arms up this time. Good. As your arms are nice and active, we're going to engage the lower core. Squeeze the block. Inhale, high mountain. Good. Exhale, chair. Inhale, high mountain. Exhale, chair. And if you need more support here, you can grab the other block and place it in between your palms too, like Simba style. So inhale, high mountain, bringing the block up in the air. And then exhale, chair. Good. And do this for a total of 5. Which we should be at 5 by now. So go ahead, inhale, forward fold, and still squeeze onto the blocks here. Fingertips onto the mat, find the inhale, half lift, and go ahead and walk your fingertips towards the right side of the room, squeezing the block, bringing the right hip crease forward. Good. 2 more breaths. And exhale, release. Inhale, walk your fingers over towards the left side for a total 3 breaths. Good. Walk forward. Squeeze through the blocks. Inhale, halfway lift. Bend at the knees, find that chair. Good. And inhale, rise, bring your arms up. Good. So we're squeezing the blocks, coming into chair. We're going to want to bring our palms together here. As your palms meet, we're going to inhale, bringing the right elbow to the left thigh, press the palms together, lift up through the chest, coming into twist. Good. Inhale, heart center. Exhale, twist to the opposite side. The left elbow on the right thigh. Good. Inhale, chair. We're going to move a little faster here. Exhale to the opposite side. Twist. And we're going to find this twisting motion in after each breath. We're going to return ourselves into the center and go to the opposite side. So it's a little more energetic here. We're creating the heat. We're still finding that lower core engagement and getting good, healthy twists into our spine at the same time. And wherever you're at, go ahead and do 3 more reps on each side. Making sure that we keep that concentration of pressing our knees into the block. That we're finding that lift through the spine as we twist. Going through our breaths. And after you've done the 3 reps on each side, bring your arms forward into chair. Good. And then inhale, rest all the way up in the high mountain back bend if you want. And then exhale, release. Nice. Then you can go ahead and release the block from here. And you can go ahead and bring the blocks back to the front of the mat. Good. And so for here, go ahead and take a drink of water, catch your breath if you need to. We're going to go ahead and dive more into the hips and into the core here. I'm making sure that this is turned up. Okay, cool. And so now for the next set of asanas that we're going to do is we are going to go through some extended lunges with the blocks. And so this is going to not only help create some more movement and from our core, but it's also going to create strength into our leg and into our ankle. So with the blocks to the front of the mat, we're going to go ahead and start with our left foot and place our left foot on top of the mat. As our left block is on top of the mat, we're going to find this core engagement. And pressing our left foot into the mat, we're going to go ahead and we're going to bring our arms into cactus or palms to the heart center, whichever feels most comfortable. And then inhale, rise up with our right knee. We're going to keep the right foot flexed. We're going to keep the left trunk nice and strong. Our left hip is in. Find your navel and lift up 2 inches to find your tallest spine. And then as you start to engage through the left leg, right leg, we're going to inhale, send the right leg back, almost like we're coming into a warrior 3. It's like a little bit of deadlift here. Good. Inhale, bend the knee up. And then exhale, bring it back. And then dropping the knee. Good. Inhale, straighten out the leg. Press the left foot on the block and inhale. Bring the right knee up. And exhale, extend it back, warrior 3 style. Good. Inhale, send the right knee back up. And then exhale, shoot it back, running lunge, and then drop the knee here. Good. Inhale, straighten out through the leg. Inhale, bring the right knee up. Engage through the core, warrior 3, flex the right foot back. Good. And then inhale, rise, bring your right knee up. And go ahead and send the right leg back, drop the foot, and drop the knee here. Good. And do this 2 more times, your own breath, your own pace, for a total of 5. This requires a lot of concentration and balance into the left leg. Good. So making sure that we are nice and strong. And that we are lifted and connected here. Send the leg back, drop the knee. Good. And then on the next lift, we're going to inhale, right foot through the right leg and just knee it to the right block. Good. And then just shake up through the ankles, kind of moving on the block side to side here. Good. And if you feel like you may need a little bit more of assist in balancing, you can take the blocks near the wall so that if you feel yourself toppling over, you can use the wall to help balance and support yourself here. So now we're going to move on to the right side. So as we're finding this lift throughout our spine, we're going to bring all of our energy into the right leg. We're nice and strong here, engage through the thigh. And we're going to inhale, flex with the left foot and extend the left knee up. So you extend the left knee up, we're going to engage the core, and inhale, hip hinge forward, left leg back, warrior 3 style. Good. And make sure to take these movements nice and slow so that we're not rushing through our ankle movement here. The next inhale, bring the knee up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, send the left leg back. Drop the toes and drop the knee here. Good. And then inhale, straighten out through the leg. Inhale, bring the left knee up towards the chest. Exhale, extend. Warrior 3 style. Good. Inhale, bend the knee up. And exhale, extend it back. Set running lunge, and then drop the left knee. Inhale, lift, and then go ahead and do this 3 more times for a total of 5. Making sure that we move through our breaths, that we do find engagement into our core, into our thigh as we move, and maybe finding something to focus on here so that we can keep this concentration alive. You will be wobbling. Good. You will be trying to keep yourself up and stable. This is what helps us create the strength into our ankles so that over time we can create a smoother movement through these lifts. Damn, topple in everywhere too. Good. And then after you have done your set of 3, you're going to go ahead and lift that left knee all the way up towards the chest, and then find it onto the other block, and go ahead and just shake out the ankles here, side to side. Good. Nice. And then you go ahead and hop off your blocks here, and find a hip hinge forward fold. Connect your hands onto the blocks. And as we connect your hands to the blocks, you're going to walk your feet back, coming into a plank position. Exhale, downward facing dog. So the blocks are helping us to extend here our spine more towards the ceiling, tailbone towards the sky, and it's making our triceps and our shoulders work a little more into this downward facing dog. So we're creating more movement. Our chest has more room to make its way towards the ground, adding a little more challenge so that we can create more flexibility into the spine. Stay here for 3 more breaths. After the 3 breaths, we can go ahead and come into a plank position, but with our hands onto the mat. So into this plank position, making sure that our hands are directly behind the blocks, we're going to go through a series of what looks like steps, like plank steps, but with our hands. So what we're going to be doing here is as we go through our plank, engage through the core and send your ankles back. Good. We're going to inhale, bring the right hand to the block and the left hand, and then exhale, right hand to the floor, left hand. We're going to be nice and strong into the front core, into the back core, keeping our thoracic area nice and straight as we move here and as we climb onto the blocks. And we're going to do these for 10 reps. So inhale, right hand, left hand. Exhale, right hand mat, left hand mat. Good. Inhale, right hand block, left hand block. Exhale, right hand mat, left hand mat. Good. And wherever you are at in your count as you're exploring this, just do a total of 10. Good. We're finding the total engagement of our front body and our back body to help keep this pencil shape. Good. And you're almost there. And then after you have done your 10 reps, you can go ahead and bring your knees down and come into a child's pose. Child's pose for about 3 to 5 breaths. Good. And then slowly round through the spine, coming into tabletop position. And then in your tabletop position, go ahead and do a few rounds of cat-cow. So inhale, chest is lifted, tailbone up. And then exhale, round through the shoulders, chin to chest into cat. Go ahead and do About 3 to 5 at your own breath, your own pace. And after you found a little bit of a reset here, we're gonna bring the right block, or the right block towards the right hand, and then the left block towards the left knee. We're not gonna put it underneath yet, but we're gonna go into first a balancing tabletop just on the mat on each side of our limbs, and then we're going to incorporate the blocks into the practice so that we can add more of a challenge to the balance. So to start in your tabletop position, let's go ahead and extend the left leg back, root through the top of the right foot, keep the left foot extended, flex, and rotate the left hip crease down so we're square. And then inhale, bring the right arm forward. So find the full length of our upper body here and also lifting up through the spine. We're not just dipping, we're finding a strong lift. All right, staying here for 5 energetic breaths. Getting that quad engagement, that core engagement, get it through the hand and through the foot. We are nice and strong here. Keep the left arm straight. After those 5 breaths, do 5 sets of knee to elbow. Inhale, knee to elbow to center. Exhale, release. Inhale, knee to center. Exhale, release. Go ahead and do 3 more. Your own breath, your own pace. Good. Then after you've done your 3, you go ahead and just bend the left knee and inhale, bring the right arm back. Grab on to the left foot and inhale, press the left foot into the right hand. Take your eye gaze forward. Stay here for 3 breaths. Good. And inhale, balance tabletop. And then exhale, release. Go ahead and shake up the hips. And don't worry, when we come onto the blocks, we're not going to be going through that back bend. Just thought it would be nice to open up the spine a little more. Good. Now we're going to go ahead, balance tabletop onto the opposite side. So this time, top of the left foot onto the mat. We're going to go ahead and extend the right leg back, left arm forward. Good, and making sure that we are nice, energetic, and lifting up through the spine upward towards the ceiling. We're not dipping it to the hip. Good, so engage everything. Arm is forward. Finishing the rest of your 5 breaths here. And then once you have finished your 5 breaths, do 5 sets of knee to elbow. Inhale to the center. Exhale, release. Inhale, center. Exhale, release. Inhale, center. Exhale, release. And then once you have done your 5, then go ahead, bend the right knee, send the left hand back, and inhale, press the right foot into your left hand, lifting up through the chest. 3 breaths. Good. Arms are forward, and then release, and go ahead, do a quick child's pose. A couple breaths to rest through the spine. Take a drink of water if you need to. Good. And now we can go ahead and incorporate the blocks here. So the block is going to go underneath the right hand to start. And then on the left side, it's going to go underneath the left knee. So as you find your position for your tabletop here, go ahead and just slide a block underneath each of them. Good. And this is going to require more balance here since we are on top of the blocks. And it is natural, so if you come into your balanced tabletop, that your back foot, the left foot, the toes might want to touch onto the ground to bring more stability. But let's practice flexing through the toes and bringing the toes towards the back of the room. Good, so that we are only relying on the block for support here. Good. Same thing, right foot is flexed, left arm is forward, engaging through the core. Stay here for 3 breaths this time, just because we're balancing and it's a little more challenging. But we're still gonna do the 5 knee to elbow. So after the 3 breaths, inhale, knee to elbow. Exhale, release. Inhale, knee to elbow. Exhale, release. And take your time here and do a total of 5. So it is more challenging because we are on the blocks and we're keeping the left toes lifted so that we're not using it as support onto the mat. Even though it's super easy to bring your toes down for it. After you've done your 5, you go ahead and release. And very gently just switch the blocks on, just slide them to the opposite sides. Good. And then coming on top of the blocks. Good. Keep the right toes pointed up so that we're not cheating. Good. But if you feel like you need to save yourself from falling, obviously, whoop, just stick your feet down. Good. So go ahead and start to find this balance here through the core. Left foot is flexed back, right arm flexed forward. 3 breaths here. Nice and strong. Good. And then 5 knee to elbows. Inhale, knee to elbow. Exhale, release. Inhale, knee to elbow. Exhale, release. 3 more at your own breath, your own pace. Good. Then after you've done your 3, for a total of 5, you can then slowly release yourself off of the blocks here. Good. Bring the blocks towards the back of the mat. Good. And bring them close together here as we're going to come into a plank again. But onto the plank, we're going to bring our toes onto the blocks here. Actually, got to bring mine forward because of my weird mat. Okay. Blocks are together. We're going to come forward into a plank. But in this plank, we're going to come onto our forearms here so that we are a little more elevated. Straightening out through the spine and making sure that the elbows are directly underneath our shoulders here. Good. We're going to stay here for 30 seconds. So finding this forearm plank, we're going to find full engagement into the quads, into the front core, into the back core. And we want to find this lift through the chest, through our shoulder blades, so that we're not crashing into our shoulder blades here. Keep the core engaged. Stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2. Drop the knees down. Go ahead, child's pose. Flip the feet. Good. And very gently coming up into your tabletop position, and go ahead and kind of just shake up through the hips, shake up through the side body, whatever you can to organically reset yourself. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to start to make our way towards the wall here. So you go ahead. I'm going to my little instruments here. So you can go ahead and find a comfortable spot near the wall, and I would bring both of the blocks and possibly like a blanket or a pillow to sit upon. I'm going to take the blocks and bring them kind of by our thighs here, and we're going to meet our spine to the wall. As we meet our spine to the wall, we do want to be nice and straight and supported here. So we want to bring our tailbone towards the edging, rotate our shoulders back. And as you press your hands into the blocks, we just want to find this lift into the spine here so that we're not over hunching or anything like that. From here, Our blocks are going to be by your thighs. We're going to press our hands into the blocks. Good. And we're going to point our toes forward. And we're going to engage through the lower stomach. And inhale, point your right toes up towards the ceiling. So lifting up towards the sky. I should say the toes are pointed forward and the top of the foot is towards the ceiling. And then release. Flex the left toes, point it forward. Engage with the core. And then inhale, rise up, left leg, 3 breaths. Good, and then release. Then we're gonna inhale, rise, 3 breaths, right leg towards the ceiling. Good, and then release. Then inhale, rise, left leg towards the ceiling, 3 breaths. You notice that you're able to go a little higher each time. Good. So then after each breath, now we're gonna kind of go like alternating instead of just one at a time for a few breaths. We're gonna inhale, rise the right leg, and then lower it. Inhale, rise the left leg, and lower it, and go through an even pace, so that it will soon almost look like little scissors here. So find your place onto the wall here. Engage through the shoulders, engage through the core. Point the toes forward. Inhale, rise, right leg towards the ceiling. Release. Inhale, left. Release. Inhale. Release. Inhale, left leg, release. And go at your own pace, your own breath. And then eventually, you're gonna go through each breath. For when you inhale, you're gonna move the right leg up, then the left leg, and then on your exhale, right leg and left leg. So it's not like a movement through your breaths. It's nice and even. Okay. We're gonna go ahead and do this for wherever you're at. Do 5 more reps on each side. Let's make it 6. And then if you've done your 6, you go ahead, flex the toes up towards the ceiling. Inhale, rise, arms up the wall. And then exhale, hip hinge, forward fold. Grabbing onto the toes, onto the feet, onto the shins, wherever you can grab from here. Leading your chest forward to help you bend. The hip, more at the hips. Hinge more at the hips. Good. Then we're going to go ahead and release. We're going to grab our blocks here. Good. And we're going to grab one block to start. With this block, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take it about 6 inches to the right ankle. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and find our straight spine onto the wall. And we're going to flex our right toes forward. And we're going to work more through the lower core, through the hip flexors as we go through this exercise here. So as we point our toes towards the front of the mat, we're going to inhale, rise, right leg. We're going to lift it over the block onto the opposite side, keeping the left leg straight and our torso straight. Inhale, engage, bring it over the block and forward. Good. And do this 5 more times. So keeping our back straight, keeping our hips straight. The only thing that is moving is our right leg. And then after you have done those 5 reps, you can go ahead and move the block to the left side. Good. Nice. Straight spine onto the wall. Flex the left toes forward. Engage to the lower core. And inhale, rise. Bring the left leg over the block. And back. For a total of 5. Then after you have done your 5, you then go ahead and bring your feet together here. And then inhale, rise, arms up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, hip hinge. Oh. We're actually near the end of class. I didn't know we were so soon to it. But you can continue on this exercise later on through the day too with the legs. And another thing for those who have to scurry directly at 8 o'clock is that you can take this exercise a little deeper too, where you can increase the amount of blocks. So right now I have my 2 and pointing, I'm going to bring it a little bit back here. Good. And pointing my right toes forward. And you can take this even deeper by going through each block and going even deeper into the hip hinge. And you want to move nice and slow, concentrated, so that you know your range of motion here, as well as making sure that you stretch more through the hip flexors if you're going to go wider in this exercise. So that's something that you can take with you later on through the day today. And with all these exercises, really working with the lower core is going to help create a better posture and stability as you move forward in your physical practice, yoga, climbing, Pilates, just working out in general. So that's something that you could take home with you. Yeah. And you can find yourself back onto your mat. If you are looking for some more core exercises to work with, you can come to my classes later on tonight at 6 and 7, and we can dive deeper into these type of exercises. Okay. So you can go ahead and find yourself onto your mat here, and you're actually going to swing your legs forward. I would re-grab the blocks, bring one block towards the top of your mat, the other block we're going to bring in towards our knees here or our thighs. Good. From here, we're going to inhale, rotate the shoulders back, bring our arms forward, and inhale, halfway lift with the shins, coming into boat pose here, variation. So lift through the chest, engage through the core, toes are pointed forward. And from here, we're going to inhale, rise all the way up towards the ceiling, squeezing the block as hard as we can, bringing that chest up and forward, almost like there's a bowling ball underneath your lower spine, helping us up. Stay here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and very gently inhale, bring your arms up above the head and slowly, vertebra by vertebra, making your way onto the mat here. Good. Stretching your toes all the way towards the front of the mat, hands towards the back of the mat. And we're going to take one final deep inhale in through the nose and out through the mouth. Slowly release the hands. You can release the block through your knees. And if you wanted to, for your Shavasana today, you can take a block and you can place it underneath your lower spine. So onto the sacrum part, not directly into your lumbar, but the square part of your pelvic, the sacrum. So if you wanted to find that lift here for your Shavasana today, you could go ahead and provide that here. Or if you wanted more of an opening throughout your upper body, you could place the block onto your thoracic spine, where it's right underneath your rib cage up towards your shoulders a long way. And you can go ahead and come into your Shavasana. You're more than welcome to stay here in your Shavasana. And knowing that it is 8 o'clock and some of us may need to start our day before you leave, I just wanted to bring a quote to help bring you throughout your rest of the day. And this quote is by Helen Keller: that character cannot be developed in ease and quiet, that only through experience of trial and suffering can the soul be strengthened, ambition inspired, and success achieved. So as you're lying here in your Shavasana, just very subtly recreating movement into your body, maybe from the ankles, the toes, the fingers, the wrists. Just allowing yourselves to make sure that we keep our energy and our awareness awake to get us started for the rest of our day today. And as you work through these movements, you can slowly inhale, take your arms above your head. Very gently place the soles of your feet onto the mat. Deep inhale through the nose. And exhale, release. Very softly guide yourself off of your prop and into a seated position. And then in the seated position, you can go ahead and meet your palms into the heart center. And you go ahead and take a bow for yourself. Give yourself some gratitude for making it to today's class, as well as thanking everybody else who have participated so we can all share this virtual space together. And hoping that peace and health can be still for the rest of your day. And namaste. All right, sorry for cutting the class a little fast at the end there, but just making sure that everybody who has their places to be and everything at 8 o'clock can go ahead and do so at a readily time. But tonight we are going to be working more with the core. We're going to be exploring more with movement, again with our blocks, but really trying to focus on not just like the structure of like our traditional front core as a general, but more deep into our lower abs so that we can keep our strength to bring it back on the walls once the gym opens. It's not, so we're more even into our legs over here. Now you're welcome, Matt. So nice to see or read that you came to class today. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and for the rest of the morning crew, thanks for joining, and I'll see you later.